I totally stole this, and if someone sees this video, but the lady burned my face and burned off a chunk of my hair, and she told me, hey guys, in today's video I'm going to be talking about how I got in a movie and what prop I stole on set. Here's a little story time about how I ended up in Jurassic World, but let's get into it. Let's start at the beginning. It's funny because I think most actors fall in love with acting because they see something and they get really inspired and they're like, I want to do that. And it's normally like a really critically acclaimed movie or something. For me, it was Disney Channel. It sounds very, very silly, but it's true. I was obsessed as a child, and I really wanted I really wanted to be in a really fun, quirky sitcom. I don't know, that's always been something that I just really enjoyed. Something that is a complete escape from reality, and it's wholeheartedly fun, maybe a sprinkle of a little romance. That's where the beginning of my love for acting started, and I'm still chasing that dream. The biggest goal of mine is to be in like a Netflix rom-com. Next is trying something new. When I moved to Hawaii, if you don't know, I moved around a lot. Born in Florida, lived in Philly, then ended up in Hawaii. During my years at middle school, I was like, I want to be on Disney Channel. I want to do the thing, and I started taking acting classes, and by that I mean I took one acting class. They gave me critical notes and tried to push me, and it made me sad and want to cry. Just being honest, I do not know how child actors function, like, quite honestly, because it's so much pressure. Like, getting a note, it seems like it's so personal when it's like, oh hey, maybe you should be doing this instead of that. I distinctly remember a class where they were like, improvise that you're in a scene and you're waiting for someone to come home. And I like orchestrated this whole thing where I was like opening the window and like walking around, sitting on the couch, and I had a lot of layers. And because it was improvised in a black box theater, if you don't know, that's just a room with 4 black walls. That was all that I had. I didn't have actual props or anything like that. So I did this whole thing, but it wasn't clear. I was like 12. It wasn't clear, and that's an actual good acting note, being like, hey, you could have literally just like looked at your wrist and been like looking around, and it would have been clear that you were waiting for someone. And I took that note, and I remember being so like embarrassed and I'm being like, ugh. And it was funny because also the thing with acting too is that there's always people who have acted longer than you. There was kids in that class who were like, I was in this movie with George Clooney, a bunch of movies that were like filmed in Hawaii. A lot of the kids in the acting class were child actors, and I was just like and I felt very embarrassed. I did not continue with acting classes after that until college, which is later, and this all is going to lead towards me getting on Jurassic World. In addition to taking acting classes, I signed up for an agency. This agency in Hawaii was mostly known for kind of background work, print work. So just when you need a lot of different people, they can tap them and be like, hey, I have a list of 100 people that you could utilize. So I joined this agency, and they only I think I'm actually kind of technically still a part of them. I haven't formally left, but for like the 7 years that I was on island technically signed to them, they only offered me a job twice. One of them was my very first acting job, and the only acting job people recognized me in because it was in a blockbuster movie, and that was Jurassic World. How did I get this part? What happened? To this day, I'm still like shook because I was truly just going to be an extra. That scene that they filmed, I was actually technically in 3 scenes, but since I was featured so heavily on one, they kind of hid me in the other 2. But extras, if you don't know, they're just people who fill the background. They needed over 400 extras for that day to enter the gyrosphere, so to like fill the park that is Jurassic World, this island, which is the most notable one where you could actually like see me, my face fills the screen. It was such a weird moment, oh my god. But it's me kind of flirting with Nick Robinson, who was the teen lead.
Is that the soft tissue is preserved because the iron in the dinosaur's blood generates free radicals. Those are highly reactive. So the proteins and the cell membranes get all mixed up and act as a natural preservative. DNA can survive for millennia that way. So now, even if the amber mines dry up, they'll still have bones. What do you think's gonna happen from you just staring at them?
Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
Enjoy the ride.
Crazy. Basically, how they picked those extras and how they picked wardrobe. So we had a fitting day, so we had to bring outfits in. All 400 extra people had a time slot. They were coming to this warehouse where they had other wardrobe options and stuff. But me and my family, so me, my mom, and my dad came in, and we were like, okay, these are the outfits we brought. We were supposed to bring just casual outfits, but the nice fitting people found this really lovely like lavender shirt. They take pictures of you. They're like, okay, here's your characters, your fit. They keep the wardrobe so you don't lose it, and they send you off, and they're like, okay, you're gonna get your call sheet for when you're gonna work, when your call time is, like when you need to show up, and that's that. Something I just now realized as an adult is that when you're an extra, when wardrobe is taking photos of you, they're actually kind of picking what looks they like best and how they want to fill the space, if that makes sense. So someone saw my photo, like, hey, this girl's like looks really pretty. Biggest compliment ever. Let's put her towards the front. I guess I was like flagged. So when I came onto set, it was like 8 a.m. call, or probably actually earlier, because we started filming around 9. So I think it was like a 5:30 call time. Got in, did hair and makeup. Funny hair and makeup story I'll save till the end of getting burned. But go into hair and makeup, come out fully dressed. We're waiting around. Being an extra, you're really just waiting all the time. I mean, probably being a lead actor, you also have a lot of wait time too. But then it happens. I go onto set, I'm getting shoved into the giant line that is this scene, and they pull 4 girls, so I was part of the 4 girls. They pulled us to the front. They're like, we want you guys to be the group of girls who goes onto the ride. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And a fun little thing, the gyrosphere actually didn't have the clear sphere. It was just like the blue rails, and the track only lasted like 12 feet. So it was just like a quick little doo-doo, and I actually got in it. It's really cool. Me geeking out of the one job that I had as an actor that was actually paying. The funniest thing, the reason why they chose me to be in the front, I think they liked all 4 of our looks like a lot, but the reason I was in the front was because I was the shortest. That's like the one of the only reasons why I was in the front. Clearly they liked my look, so I was part of the 4, but the only reason I was the front girl was because I was short, and also to go into the gyrosphere they didn't want someone who was super tall because then it'll affect the CGI effect. That's how that happened, and it was such an awkward filming experience. Filming the scene, so filming that scene, no one told me that I was gonna be in the front. No one told me that I'd have to do anything. I didn't know any of this. So of course when they're like, smile, laugh, I think on the first take I literally turn around and I go, hey. And he was like, hey. And then the director's like, no talking. And I was like, oh, okay. That scene took like 3 hours to film of me just smiling and laughing. Probably like 30 minutes in, my smile started going like this. You know how smiles sometimes it gets hard to smile? Yeah. So the director was like, okay, how about this? We're just going to turn around. I forget what he did to make me just start laughing. So I just started just laughing and trying to have fun with it. But he definitely had to like get it out of me because I was nervous. There was this big honking camera. There was so many people just watching me struggle, and I didn't know about any of this. No one prepped me at all. It was so funny. And I think I did talk to Nick for like all of 30 seconds after we were done filming, because that was like a 12-hour day. Not all 400 people had to stay the whole day, but it started with the 400 people doing all the wide shots with everybody, and then we went in closer and like started to send other people home. So there was a few, probably like 30 to 50 people left over just to fill the background and the line. It was wild. It was fun, but it was like so exhilarating, but I also didn't feel prepped for it, which is funny now, because now if someone were to give me notes and direct me being like, smile, laugh here, I could do it like very easily. But back then I couldn't. I was so just nervous of judgment and shame, like in my acting class, of like, what if I do the wrong thing? But luckily the director was so kind. Like, I don't know if he'd ever want to work with me in the future, because yeah, I was definitely a kid, but it's been so long since that happened. It's like, please work with me. But yeah, that was filming. It's funny because you would think after having that experience that I would chase acting even harder, but in actuality after that I was like, let me focus on school. Before I get into the hairstyling fun journey, I just wanted to say some lessons that I learned, because after doing that extra scene and stuff, so many of the extras were like, oh, are you a part of the union? Are you, like, how are you working? How are you getting jobs? You should get into it. I really wish I did kind of start getting into it, but at the same time not, because I don't feel like I would be the same person that I am today if I didn't continue to focus on the things that I focused on. When I got into high school, I really focused on all my leadership stuff, and a part of me wishes that I did more artistic things, but at the same time I feel like a lot of those things in high school shaped who I am today, so I don't regret it. But there was definitely like paths that I could have taken. For example, the second job that I mentioned earlier, the first being Jurassic World, the second was a print job for a like pretty big teen magazine. They wanted me to work, but I couldn't because it was on a school day and I had a big ROTC event. I was in junior ROTC in high school. I was the executive officer. Yeah, and I was also student body president. I had a lot of things going on in high school. Cheer, track, so many things. So I didn't prioritize that. I was like, hey, sorry, I have to turn them down. Those were the only 2 jobs I ever got from them. Lesson learned: find a good agency. Find an agency that actually gives you jobs. I'm not saying you need to be getting jobs every single day from them, but they should be getting you opportunities. And I recently actually did extra work for a different show, which I won't say, but there's a vlog on my Patreon if you want exclusive details. And it was very interesting because it was very much like Jurassic World, a little bit smaller scale because it's a TV show, but it's like, hey, you, can you come over here? I want you to talk at the bar, walk to the table, I want you smiling really big at the band. And it was just a lot of fun, and it just makes me so excited for the day that I get to book a TV show or movie. It's gonna happen and it's gonna be so exciting. But that's how I ended up being in Jurassic World. It was a crazy time. I feel like a lot of it was truly luck, that I just so happened to have joined an agency, and a couple years after joining they gave me this job where I was just supposed to be an extra, and for some reason my photos stood out amongst all the like 400, 500 extras that joined, and then out of the 4 girls that I was the shortest. So I feel like that also is a little bit of acting. It's like half luck, half talent. You fall into it and you're just like hoping for the best, but then it's also so much work because you have to be ready for when that moment happens. And I think that's what I'm starting to realize. As a kid, I don't think I was ready. I was still really trying to please people and worried about how I looked and worrying about how people would judge me. Now I don't really care. Like, as you may tell, I have a YouTube channel. I don't care. I love making content. There's a few select of you who mean the world to me. You guys always comment on my videos and it means so much. But I think a part of just liking YouTube, I like documenting my life. I like getting to share my experiences with you guys, and it just means a lot. But now for the fun stories. So what did I steal on set? Let's talk about that. So to enter Jurassic World, you needed this bracelet, and I don't know if they CGI'd it to be a little bit more fancy, but it was like, I think it's supposed to give you like access to your rooms. I totally stole this, and if someone sees this video and gets angry at me, I'll mail it back. But it has been like 6 years, so hopefully no one gets too mad, and no one really asked for it back. I believe I just walked off set with it. The set was very much a closed set. They put stickers over our phones. They made sure at the end of the day that our stickers were still intact on our phones to see if we took any photos. It was a big secret. Even when I was just going in as an extra for the fitting, they didn't tell us it was for Jurassic World. They just said untitled movie or something. Yeah. And I don't know, I keep it on my bookshelf. It's kind of hidden. I don't really talk about it too much because obviously I kind of stole it, but I was 16 and I just felt like this was a magical moment. Oh my gosh. Now the funny hairstyling moment. So as you can tell, I have really big curly hair. In high school I used to relax my hair because I didn't like dealing with its fluffy poofiness, and I still it still got very fluffy and poofy. I lived in Hawaii, for God's sakes. But for some reason, when I went into hair and I had my hair like this, I think I had some mousse in or something just to like give my hair an extra curl. And the woman brings out this curling wand that was super thin and starts to try and like recurl my hair, and oh my god, it took so long. She was kind of a terrible hairstylist because like you could tell when you touch my hair that it was still a little wet. It was like 5:30 in the morning. I woke up like maybe 2 hours earlier to do my hair and like put a little product in. So she starts curling my hair and one of my pieces starts to like smoke. And then not only does she burn off a chunk of my hair, like an actual chunk, like I lost like a chunk of hair. She also burned my face. Luckily it healed. I used some like aloe vera, like just from the plant, and I would put it on like 3 times a day, and it went away in like a few months. But the lady burned my face and burned off a chunk of my hair, and she told me, oh, did you put hair product in your hair? And I was like, yeah. I'm in pain, mind you, and just lost a chunk of my hair, and I'm like 16, so I'm like, yeah, I put product in my hair. She's like, oh, you shouldn't do that next time, and she kind of walks off. I don't know what, maybe to fix her curling wand or something, but I flagged down a PA, like a production assistant, and I'm like, hey, so this lady just burned my face, what do I do? And he was like, oh my god. He got a medic and they put some like salve on my face, and he was like, I'm so sorry. And I was like, it's okay, it was a little weird, you didn't do anything. And the lady goes back to curling my hair and I leave. Oh, it was so funny. And that is why boys and girls and people having hairstylists that know how to do black hair is so important. Well, that's my funny story. I hope you enjoyed my little PJ story time of the things I stole, the lessons I learned, how I ended up in a freaking movie. I'm really hopeful for 2022 to book something exciting. I will keep you guys abreast of the situation. Again, love having my channel. Besides the fact that it challenges me to keep reading and to keep working on the things that I want to work on, like personal development, it also is really cool to document these moments where I was like, I was in college and I had classes and trying to be a full-time actress. It's gonna be a moment and it's cool, and I'm very much looking forward to the future. I hope you guys are too. If you made it to the end of this video, comment below this emoji so I know you are the real MVP. And if you like videos that talk about acting, I have a video where I talk about my audition tape for Gossip Girl, where I get very critical about all the acting choices I make, and then I review the show. It's an interesting video. You should definitely check it out. And then a huge shout out to my Patreons. Like I said, they're getting the exclusive content. They know what show I was filming on, and they're getting a little vlog of it. They get reading vlogs and tons of bonus stuff, so definitely check it out. And I hope this video gave you a little bit more sunshine, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Not me filming this video, and as soon as I freaking hit end, like stop recording, I get put on a veil for a commercial that I literally vlogged doing the audition, doing the callback. You'll see that vlog tomorrow. And now I'm on a veil. Like, I just have a feeling, okay guys? Like, I don't know how much money I'm gonna make from acting. Don't become an actor to make lots of money. Literally, I think 10% of actors can make a living off of just acting. Most of us got our day jobs, our survival jobs. But I just feel like I'm starting my journey, and I'm very, very excited. So on a veil means that they want me. I'm down to the last few people. They just need to actually confirm and then, you know, send me the call sheet, and I show up and I'm like, hey, what's good? What's good? Okay, just had to tell you that because what a magical moment while I'm sitting here talking about acting. Magical. That's all I have to say, magical.